Greetings, lords and ladies. As virtually all of you know, a new patch has descended upon us, namely patch 7, that has brought a lot of changes. And of course I'm rather late to the party, as most of the whippersnappers have beaten me to the punchline. But for those of you who don't know, the new patch has brought a lot of new and interesting things with it. First and foremost, the Barbarian class, with its two subclasses, Berserker and Wildheart, a completely new UI, a new hotbar, the ability to throw weapons, objects, and people, new music, improved animations, and much, much more. And praise be to the gods for those things, and of course praise be to Larian Studios. But something that some of us were looking forward to, perhaps more than anything else, is conspicuously missing: the ever-elusive Level 5, and all that Level 5 brings with it. Now I recognize that I'm not the first person to talk about this, far from it in fact. But I want to offer some important reasons why Level 5 should be attainable before the game is officially launched, approximately a year from now. The obvious reason is the basic premise behind any RPG, namely progression. Even granting early access, it is simply painful to achieve Level 4 in early access, with tons of further experience to be gained, but with no actual possibility of capitalizing upon it. If you're anything like me, part of the reason why you play RPGs in the first place is for that sense of progression and leveling up, which of course can be quite frustrating with a level cap before. However, I do realize that this is not truly a convincing argument. After all, eventually, when the game is fully released, we will be able to advance well past level 4. And whatever the level cap is then, it will be significantly higher, likely well above 10, so this concern of lack of progression might seem both inflated and artificial. The far more pressing reason for allowing us to advance to level 5 has to do with balance. Just hear me out. Level 5 is considered a major stepping stone in any Dungeons & Dragons campaign, or game for that matter, as it is that which allows characters of all classes and stripes to first touch upon powerful abilities and spells. Levels 1 to 4 are just weak sauce, but once you reach, say, level 5 as a wizard, you can cast, for example, the infamous and iconic Fireball spell, a staple of any wizard's arsenal. Warriors get an extra attack per turn, which, although lacking the pizzazz of a fireball, makes up for it with its incredible utility, as 2 attacks with the Flaming Greatsword are just better than 1. Rogues get extra sneak attack damage and the uncanny dodge ability, and so it goes. Of course, part of this has to do with the joy of level progression, but the other part of it in the context of Baldur's Gate 3 early access is simply that if we are told we have an early access for the purpose of improvement and balancing, something I personally endorse, as I think of all the developers I know, Larian does quite possibly the best job of any company in this regard, then we simply cannot ignore why level 5 is so important, precisely for the purposes of balancing. The spells and abilities gained at level 5 need to be appropriately tested and tuned, as would any other abilities one gains early. Yet, without the ability to properly test them, neither the players can give feedback, nor can Larian Studios respond to the feedback and implement it properly. What I am essentially arguing is that level 5 is too important a milestone to be ignored, particularly in early access, because without balancing, especially around higher level abilities and spells, it can become a bit treacherous. Of course, there are many other things that require balancing as well, and other features that exist independently of leveling and of spells and abilities, and they are equally important. But without level 5 and what that brings to the table, we simply cannot know how well abilities or spells will work, which in turn keeps Larian in the dark about player feedback. And I hope before the game is fully released, we will gain access to level 5, and we'll be able to playtest these things so Larian can get the feedback it needs, and we can give it to them. As always, thank you for tuning in. Do leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will check you out next time. Take care. Enjoy your weekend.